Hi, I'm Marissa, and welcome to Music Theory Bootcamp. Today's episode of Music Theory Bootcamp is going to cover cadences. There are lots of different kinds of cadences, and we use them for lots of different reasons. But first, let's define what a cadence is. To describe what a cadence is, it's also going to be helpful to define a musical phrase. A phrase is sort of like a musical sentence. It has a clear beginning and end point, and many phrases come in lengths of 2 measures, 4 measures, or 8 measures. The end of each phrase has a cadence, the punctuation on our musical sentence. Some cadences are meant to signify the end of a longer musical idea. These act like the period at the end of a sentence. Others act as a transition into a new musical idea, or otherwise suggest incompleteness. These might be considered the question mark or the semicolon of our musical sentence. Now that we know what cadences are, let's get into the different types of cadences. Authentic cadences go from 5 to 1 in major keys, and 5 to minor 1 in minor keys. These are definitely our period cadences. They have a very strong ending sound. There are actually 2 different types of authentic cadences, perfect and imperfect. Perfect authentic cadences go from 5 to 1. Both chords must be in root position, and the tonic chord note must be the top of the final 1 chord. Here's an example of what that sounds like and looks like. Imperfect authentic cadences don't have quite so many rules. The chords can be inverted, the top note of the chord can be any note, and you can actually use a diminished 7th instead of a 5 in your imperfect authentic cadence. Let's look at some examples of imperfect authentic cadences. This example has a different top note. We've got an E on top instead of the C, which would be the tonic note. This example has inverted chords. If you remember from our Roman numeral video, 5, 6 designates an inverted chord. And this example uses a diminished 7th chord. You can tell how the sound is similar to the 5 chord, but it doesn't sound quite as strong as a dominant 5 does. Our next type of cadence is a half cadence. Broadly speaking, a half cadence is any kind of cadence that ends with a 5 chord, but there are 3 common types of half cadences: a 4 to 5 half cadence, a 2 to 5 half cadence, and a 1 to 5 half cadence. This cadence is definitely a question mark or semicolon cadence. There aren't many pieces of music where the last chord is a 5. That would sound really unsatisfying. The next type of cadence we'll talk about is a plagal cadence. The plagal cadence goes from 4 to 1, and it sounds like this. The plagal cadence was often referred to as the Amen cadence, because oftentimes composers would use this cadence when they wanted people to sing the word Amen. This was more common during the late Renaissance period and times when this music was revived. The final cadence category I'm going to talk about today is the deceptive cadence. Deceptive cadences happen when the first chord is 5 and the second chord isn't 1. Sneaky! You're expecting an authentic cadence and you don't get one. Rude. The most common deceptive cadence is going from 5 to 6. So now that you know the different types of cadences, let's talk about how to spot them. You've got a piece of music that's about a page long, and someone has asked you to identify all the cadences. How do you find them? The first thing to do is look toward the right side of the page. Musical notation that has been well planned typically places a cadence at the end of a line. However, this isn't always a guarantee, especially with music from older eras. Sometimes the cadences can be in the middle of a line, so then how do you find them? Cadences don't have just harmonic patterns, they also have rhythmic patterns. The ending note of a cadence typically has a longer note value than many of the other notes in the piece. There might also be a rest after the cadence. All of the cadences in a piece may also have a similar rhythmic pattern, which makes them easier to spot. So to review, cadences are the punctuation of musical sentences. There are different types of cadences that serve different functions. Authentic, half, plagal, and deceptive cadences are the four most common types that you will be presented with. And cadences aren't just harmonic in function, but also rhythmic, which makes them easier to find. That's all for this episode of Music Theory Bootcamp. Please let me know in the comments down below if there's any music theory concept that you would really like me to review, or if you just want to say hi. And of course, if you like this video, be sure to let me know with a like and subscribe to see more videos just like this one. Have a good day and see you later.